Every day I try to set aside 30, 45 minutes to keep completely up to date on all the business magazines and blogs I read. So I'm seeing the latest articles. And this morning at breakfast, which is typically when I do that, I ran across a really good article on some Google research about what it takes to be a great manager leader. And I'd seen some of this before, but this reminded me that I needed to share it with you. So it's a Google research study of analyzing 10,000 manager observations, including performance reviews, surveys, nominations for top manager awards, and recognition as being one of their top leaders as well. So lots of data. Google's a data-driven company. But this research lines up perfectly with the research I've done and the hundreds of companies I've worked with around the world, including several of their peers like Apple and IBM and other companies like that. I see the same thing everywhere. Here's what they found. Google typically hired for technical expertise. I want someone that's insanely competent at what they do. And although that's important, it actually was the least important thing. Much more important than technical expertise, and that's actually what it says, much more important is just making connection and being accessible. Well, it's what we used to call management by wandering around, and genuinely caring about your people, wanting to talk to them, check in with them, see how they're doing, creating a family atmosphere and a connection to you and their work. Single most important thing. Now, they did list the top manager habits in priority order. And here they are, manager leader. They call it manager. I'd see it almost the same thing. These are leadership qualities just as much as management qualities. So listen carefully. Single most important one, be a good coach. Be accessible and make connection. So be a good coach. Check in on your people. How are they doing? Do they need any support, resources, help? How are they doing on this project? Genuinely care about them, connect with them, and remember that coaching is mostly about asking questions and helping, not telling, which gets to number 2 on the list. Empower your team and don't micromanage. I've said this for years. Hire great people, give them the training, the resources, and support they need, then get out of their way and let them go do their job. So number 2 was no micromanagement. Number 3 was express interest in employees' success and well-being. This is going to connect with another one down here, but this goes back to the connection again. Do you see that this is basically around culture? A lot of this is around creating a great culture of high engagement. And again, one of the phrases I use all the time, but it's critical, is culture equals cash. In most businesses I work with, one of the single greatest places they could improve the success of the business or destroy it, really make it fail, is in what kind of a corporate organizational culture do you have. Number 4, be productive and results-oriented. Another word for this is lead by example. Get in there shoulder to shoulder with your people, do the work. It's not just standing away and telling them what to do, but it's actually rolling up your sleeves, getting your hands dirty, and leading by example about working hard, being productive, delivering great results. Next one, be a good communicator and listen to your team. And again, this correlates beautifully with what I've been teaching for years and what I've learned is, and what I've done in some of my research where people told me the number one thing they want from their leader around communications is to ask great questions and be an intense listener. To be curious, to want to know what's going on, to listen, to ask, and not to tell. Great leaders aren't that. Yes, they're motivational and they get people excited and they can explain things clearly, but they spend most of their time asking really good, focused questions and then intently listening and being curious. Help your employees with career development. This goes right into my 6 factors of how to attract and retain top talent, which is personal and professional growth. Personal growth. I need to know that the company's investing in me, that they're sending me to training, to seminars, they got a coach for me, a mentor, but that every month I can look back and realize I'm smarter than I was at the beginning of the month. I have new skills, new abilities. I've got more exposure. I'm working on new projects. Personally, I'm growing in my job and my career. Professional development, professional growth says, can I look up and see a place for myself in this company 5 years from today? Do I see a career path? Do I see someplace I can go? And here's what I'll tell you. If you hire somebody who's really talented and you're not investing in their growth and development, lots of training and help and support and coaching and mentoring, and you can't show them that you really want them in the business 5, 6, 7 years from today, and there's a place for them, they will leave immediately. Absolutely critical. Next one, have a clear vision and strategy for your team. Couple of things on this. First thing is, a lot of people say, oh, only the CEO or the owner sets the vision. No, if you lead one person, they expect you to set a vision and a strategy for how the two of you will work together on your team. So as a manager, it might be your team. As a leader, CEO, it might be the entire company. And this goes back to some Harvard research on the most fundamental things that great companies do to separate themselves from the competition. And number one was a vivid, compelling, and well-communicated vision and strategy for growth. Absolutely fundamental to long-term business success. And then the last one, and again, this is something that showed up in my leadership research, is you got to have the key technical skills, but you also have to have very good leadership skills. So you got to be highly competent in two places: good at your job and what you do, and excellent as a leader with all these 8 that I just talked about. And then they summarize this down to 3 major ideas. And I think these are just spot on. So listen carefully again. Number 1, what employees valued most were even-keeled bosses. Folks that didn't lose control, didn't yell, scream, pound the desk, get too emotional, threaten, create stress. People already have enough stress, just trying to do their job. They don't need an added level of anxiety for not knowing how their boss is going to respond to something. And they said the truth is even a single occurrence can add layers of unnecessary anxiety and fear. And I'm going to tell you right now, people never do great work when they're anxious and fearful. So they wanted a boss who is, and here it is, employees appreciate managers who are patient, poised, and positive. Wow. Number 2, managers who help people puzzle through problems were more effective. Again, don't tell them what to do. Don't solve their problems. Don't do their job for them. You hired talented people. Give them the training, the support, the resources, the help, the mentoring, the coaching they need, then get out of their way. And when they have a challenge, instead of saying, here's how I want you to fix it, this is what I want you to do, say, what do you think is a good idea? How would you handle it? What do you think the options are? And allow them to develop the solution. Another big idea from my strategic planning work and leadership management is if people don't have a say in the outcome, they won't have a stake in the outcome. And if as a leader or a manager, you're constantly fixing all the problems, putting out all the fires yourself, here's a real clear idea, very important. You are the bottleneck in the company. The company cannot get any better than you are because if you've got 30 employees, you're doing 30 jobs. You're telling everybody what to do, you're fixing everything, you're putting out all the fires. So what you've done is you've trained them to go to you for all the solutions, and they can blame you if it doesn't go well. It wasn't my idea. The boss told me what to do. It failed. Big deal. No say in the outcome, no stake in the outcome. And then the last one, and this is number 3, but it's all tying together here, is top performing managers took an interest in employees' lives and careers. This goes right back to the 9 fundamental things around creating a high engagement culture. Is it a fun place to work? Do I work with my friends, oftentimes people I would consider my best friends, and does it have a family atmosphere? The next one is, am I treated fairly? And I could go around and give you the other 6 or 5, but the idea here is all coming back to culture. Do people genuinely like where they work? Do they believe that their boss, leader, manager cares about them and cares about them as a person, not just a cog in the machine, not just an employee or headcount, but they really care about them and they care about the contribution they're making to the company. And they help them see that. They put those things together about your work helps us achieve this. You're important to our company because what you do allows us to do these things for our customers. So they make that connection between commitment, engagement, passion, being proactive, delivering great work, and what it does for everybody in the company, what it does for the customers, the community, how it helps the company achieve their vision, their purpose. Those are the fundamental things that allow people to get really excited about their work and fully engaged, where they bring 100% of themselves to work and do the best job they can for the company. And as you'll see through a lot of these points, it all comes back to culture, leading by example, caring about your people, being accessible, asking questions and listening. Not real hard stuff, but it's already say it's awesomely simple, but it's devilishly hard to do. It takes practice. It takes being self-aware. It takes discipline. But here's what I can tell you is if you do these things consistently, you will see a dramatic positive impact on your organization, and you will play a major role in creating more success and achievement for your people and your business. I hope you found this helpful.